Hello everyone, thanks for joining us. My name is Utibe and I'll be talking on GitOps in Kubernetes with ArgoCD. So without further ado, let's get into it. So what is GitOps? Well, GitOps is a continuous delivery strategy where our infrastructure and application configuration are defined as code and stored in a version control system like Git. So basically it uses Git as a single source of truth. And what this means is that whatever is defined in the Git repository is exactly what is deployed in the cloud environment. So GitOps allows us to automate cloud infrastructure using infrastructure as code and software development best practices such as Git, code review, and CI/CD. There are a few advantages there are a lot of advantages of using GitOps, but we will just outline a few. First off, it allows us to have faster and safer deployments. It gives us ease of performing rollbacks. It allows for better traceability, and it makes it easy to eliminate configuration drifts. There are a lot of GitOps tools out there, but for the purpose of this talk, we will only be focusing on ArgoCD. So ArgoCD is a declarative GitOps continuous delivery tool for Kubernetes. It is open source and it allows basically it uses GitOps principles to deploy applications into Kubernetes clusters. Before we take a look at exactly how ArgoCD works, let's take a moment to talk about push versus pull deployments. So in a push deployment strategy, basically you would have a CI/CD pipeline that's built your application and then updates your Kubernetes cluster or redeploys or deploys the application into the cluster. For example, you would have a Jenkins server as your CI/CD build tool, and then whenever Jenkins builds your application, you will need to give Jenkins access to the cluster in order for it to perform some kubectl commands in order to update your application. But this isn't entirely safe because let's say your Jenkins server gets hacked, the hacker would have access to your cluster. So that in order to solve this, that's where the pool deployment strategy comes in. So basically, you would have a software deployed in your cluster which will pull the Git repository for changes, and if there's a change, it will redeploy the application. So how does ArgoCD works? ArgoCD is implemented as a Kubernetes controller, and it continuously monitors the applications running in your cluster and compares it to what is defined in Git's repository. So basically, it watches a particular repository for changes. Let's say you update the version of a particular Docker a deployment image. So ArgoCD will detect that change and implement the change in the cluster without you having to do that manually. So any modifications made to the desired target state in a Git repo can be automatically applied and reflected in the specified target environment. Let's take a look at some of the features of ArgoCD. So first off, we have support for multiple config and templating tools such as Customize, Helm, JSONnet, and Plain YAML. So however your application configuration is defined, be it a Helm chart or plain Kubernetes YAML manifest, ArgoCD is able to generate the correct manifest from that and deploy that into a cluster. So with ArgoCD, we are able to manage and deploy to multiple clusters. So you would only need to deploy ArgoCD into a single cluster, and ArgoCD handles the deployment into any other cluster you specify. We also have SSO integration with GitHub, GitLab, Microsoft, LinkedIn, etc. So by default, ArgoCD comes with basic authentication using username and password, but you have the ability to activate single sign-on as well. So in keeping to GitOps practices, ArgoCD allows us to roll back or roll anywhere to any application configuration committed in Git repository. So basically, you would have the ability to roll back to previous states, let's say maybe previous commits that defines a particular state of your applications. So ArgoCD comes with a web interface that allows us to visualize the health status of the resources deployed in your cluster. So let's actually take a look at what this web interface looks like. So here we have the ArgoCD web UI, and you can see I have three applications deployed: the CLI app, the declarative app, and the Helm demo. So ArgoCD detects that one of these applications is out of sync, which means that what is deployed in the cluster doesn't match what is specified in the Git repository. And it gives me the option to sync this manually. But I can also configure ArgoCD to do this automatically. And it detects that the declarative app and the Helm demo are all healthy. So here in the ArgoCD web UI, I can do pretty much anything. I can create new applications, new deployments. I can roll back the deployment. I can sync an application, etc. So ArgoCD also comes with a command line tool, the ArgoCD CLI, and using this, we can also create applications. We can roll back a particular deployment. We can sync apps as well. Yeah. So okay. So ArgoCD also gives us enables us to detect configuration drifts, like we said before. So if a particular state of the applications deployed in the cluster doesn't match and what's in the Git repository, ArgoCD detects that as well. So ArgoCD, we also have webhook integration with GitHub, Bitbucket, and GitLab. And ArgoCD allows us to override certain parameters. Let's say you deployed a Helm chart with ArgoCD, you would be able to override um, the Helm values using ArgoCD. Yeah, so that's been my talk. Thanks for listening, and I hope you learned a lot.